Yay Networks.
Everybody.
Welcome everybody to the...
Welcome to This Is Life with my fine baby daddy.
This Is Life? I thought it was... Oh, yeah, it's called This Is Life. This Is Life with Heather and Cornelius.
You done forgot the name?
I did. I forgot the name of our podcast that quick. Because we got a lot going on.
We have so much going on.
Happy Friday, shouting.
That's life. That's life, though.
Life.
I feel like this is a season where so many people have so much going on. They feel like they're just trying to keep it all together.
Look, I feel like we just got into a whole new level of adulthood that I didn't even realize existed. Our kids are getting older. And so with that, they are involved in a lot more activities. They want to have friends and
play dates, birthday parties.
And I'm just like, my oldest, our oldest, he's playing football, and they practice for 2 hours every night from 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They're a great team. Of course, they're undefeated right now. But
they're Super Bowl champs.
So they're putting the time in. I'm just like, good gracious alive. Like
Logan joined flag football for his.
Yes, he's playing flag football for his school and I asked him, I said, which one would you want to do? He said, he loves his school. So now he's like, he wants to play a sport for his school because he wants to represent his school.
Yeah. And then he's
running for class president. I'm like, bro, what?
What are you not doing?
Oh my gosh.
And then he's like leading chapel in prayer. And he's doing so much, but that's just one kid. But that's not the point of today. Again, I think it's just hitting us at like, wow, like we're whole adults.
I just stay exhausted.
That's accurate.
Just stay exhausted.
Last night we looked at each other in bed. We're like, are you ready for this week?
I know. It's like, are you prepared for this week? Because we're just not.
We're going to do it together.
Yeah.
We're in this together, babe.
You did bring it all together because I was beginning to sulk for a moment. Like, God, let me just enjoy these hours.
Like, babe, I grabbed your hand. I was like,
just sit down in the bed and do nothing.
I said, we're in this together. We gonna make it through.
I know.
Was that Hunger Games? So shout out to parents, single parents, whatever, that are trying to
the Mockingjay.
Just hold it all together. We got you. We see you. We see you. You're not alone. Okay. We're not alone.
What are we talking about today?
Let's talk about the marriage mirror.
Okay, I don't even know what that is.
Okay. I know. I had this vision for the name of it. The marriage mirror. And I feel like in marriage, your spouse is mirroring you. So either you look in the mirror and you choose to change, or you stay the same and you die the same.
Huh?
I think it sounds so intense, right? Okay.
So, it does. Okay, break it down. Okay, you don't have a mind of a 5-year-old. You got to break it down to me like I'm in preschool.
Okay. So I feel like in life, in marriage, it forces you to face who you are. If you don't face your crap and change and grow and develop, you're going to die the same way. And I feel like that's why some people, this is like a stigma, like the people that stay in the same town their whole life and a small town and they never change and they just remain the same. And it's like, why are you still going to a club at 80? You 80 at the club. You know what I mean? It's almost like that mindset. Like if you don't, marriage forces you and challenges you to change your mindset. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when I look at you, I see a mirror of myself.
So when you look at me, what do you see?
I see,
dun, 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 dun,
I see my fine husband.
Okay, but besides that, number one, shout it. Besides
number two, I see grace. I see so much mercy in you, and it's so like inspiring to me that I need to work on that. But
grace and mercy?
Yes, I do. I see that in you because you're like so patient with me. You know what I mean? And I feel like
that's like a great compliment because sometimes I'll be
feeling. Oh my gosh, no way.
I'm like legit. Baby. Sometimes I'll be like, shout it.
Baby,
come on.
You're so patient with me.
Okay,
you are.
No, that's I'm glad.
I
thankful.
Can, no, listen, I can really subconsciously, don't even realize I'm doing it, but push buttons that are so like hurtful.
Whoa.
I can. And I know that I can. But I think while I'm in it, I don't think that I am doing this. And then when I step back and reflect and I look at my marriage mirror, I'm like, oh, snap, Heather. Like, you kind of petty. You need to grow up in these particular areas. You know what I mean? So now this isn't me to like bash myself. This is self-reflection. That I'm like, okay, getting in hard conversations with you makes me really look at myself like, Heather, hey, you can't self-sabotage because sometimes I can do that. And I realized I had a trend of doing that from when I was like dating. back in my dating world.
Mm-hmm.
If I get upset about something, like I'm going to push you away. So I'm like, I'm just going to push you away because I don't want to get hurt. Even though you didn't do anything, I'm just going to push you away.
Right.
Right? Because I'm trying to protect myself. And it's like, if I have to be honest, like I had to go back and like look through all my crap and work through all my crap and my trauma and be like, where'd that come from? Oh, that came from, deeply rooted in daddy issues. Right. And then adoption and rejection. And it feels like there's an unraveling that happens when you stay, especially married long enough to see what your crap is. And I feel like in the midst of the crap, people quit because it gets messy.
It does get messy.
It's not pretty. Like, it's ugly to deal with your stuff. It's ugly to face yourself and be honest with yourself. Like, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I'm not perfectionist anymore. But the Old-Me would never admit that, hey, I push buttons sometimes.
I was going to say, like, I really want to, like, kudos to you for even admitting it. Like, that's a lot. That's big. No, I mean, it is. That's big to be able to admit something like that. Like, that's huge. Yeah. And I mean, kudos to you for even having that depth of introspection to even be able to say that. Because the problem is that a lot of people just don't say that. A lot of people just are not willing to face the facts or even own their own crap. Like I know I can get angry. Yeah. And it's like having to face that and say, like, yo, like that is an issue. That's a problem. And you have to be able to work on that problem. Just kind of trying to figure out, like, what are those triggers, even like trigger that moment where it's like, oh,
Hulk, Incredible Hulk,
crazy black man. And it's like, okay, I am. I'm angry. Like, I'm angry over like my father's situation. I'm angry over.
That's real.
I'm angry over the fact that I feel like I have all these things that I need to get done without the time to get them done in. I'm angry over the fact that I feel like I have all these different expectations I need to live up to, and I'm not trying to really live up to any of them. But then there are some that I feel like I need to live up to, and then it's like life is ghetto. So it's like I'm just
life be ghettoing.
Like,
life be ghettoing.
And then like, I get angry because I feel like, well, like dang, like. I need to be able to talk, and it's like it's difficult for me to be able to even create spaces. So it's a lot, and but the fact that you're able to even verbalize that, I think like that's absolutely huge. I mean, we're 13 years into marriage, and it's first time.
That's the first time I've ever said that.
Ever said
I know, and it's recorded. Wow.
It is recorded. It's like, But can I ask you a question though?
Yeah, baby.
So like in those moments, and this is legit. Just like I'm asking a question just to like for you to verbalize it. That's it.
Totally.
But like in those moments, like what are you thinking?
I'm not thinking I'm pushing buttons. Not whatsoever.
So that's not even the intention.
No. Oh no, not at all.
It's just so you're legit just explaining yourself.
I'm explaining myself, and then I'm also trying to protect myself.
Oh, so it's like it's
that little me that's just like, you're challenging me to grow in this area, and I don't want to.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Because I remember, I forgot what book I read, but it was the three part of the three egos that makes up the one.
Oh yeah.
That trinity, that triune ego. It is the child, the adult, and the protector. Yeah. And how the adult, many of us rarely grow into the adult because the child is so traumatized that the child is in a corner, and we really grow. We get older and we become more the protector. Yeah. And the protector is just protecting the child. So the protector is throwing low blows. The protector's like, the
protector's protecting the child.
It's protecting the little child because they don't want the little child to get hurt
But
anymore.
They're throwing blows. But I didn't know I was doing it until you called me out on it. And you're like, that's not cool. The timing of what you just said was not cool. And you were like, that was hurtful. Like, and I had to step back and be like, oh wow, I am being hurtful. But in the moment, I don't think that I am. In the moment, I'm like, get away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Why don't you say get away from me?
No, I don't want you to ever get away from me.
But no, I feel like
but the thing is, the little me doesn't know how to verbalize that. Like, you're even teaching me that I'm not great at communication. Like, I'm a whole preacher. Like, I'm a communicator. Like, that's what I do. But being married, sometimes I realize, like, crap, I'm not. My thing is this, and I've shared this before. Like, it's not that I think I'm a bad communicator.
You're not a bad communicator at all.
I think that thank you, baby.
It's the way that you verbalize.
It's the way that I verbalize because sometimes I'm processing And it takes me such a long, I don't know what it is. Was I always like this?
No, you were not.
I wasn't. Like, I don't know what's
I don't know where
happening.
it came from.
Because I used to be able to like be there right with you. And then you were the quiet one and I was the one that wanted to talk. You would take a couple days to process. I
just needed time.
But we've switched, like we swapped. So now I need a couple days to process. And you're like, a couple days? I don't have a couple days.
I don't get it. But you know what? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. We're going to talk about it right after this break. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, we got all these thoughts racing through our heads, all this stuff going on. I mean, baby, so much going on.
It's so much going on. I think sometimes as parents, or even if you're single, like you're wearing so many hats throughout the day. You're trying to do it all. You're trying to process it all. Sometimes you need that outside voice that is non-biased, that can help you walk through and give language to the season that you're in and give language to those racing thoughts that are going on in your head. And that's why we love BetterHelp.
Yeah.
You guys, online therapy literally made easy, okay? Mm-hmm. You can connect with a therapist within 48 hours, you guys, which I think is amazing. You can do it online, so you don't have to, you know, go anywhere in person. You don't even have to show your face if you don't want to. If you just want to be able to talk to somebody, you can.
Right.
They match you with a therapist, and they walk through those, you know, racing thoughts, anxiety, stress, whatever you're going through in your life.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just so easy. I mean, you fill out a brief questionnaire after they match up with somebody. And the cool thing I like, if you don't like the person you matched up with, cut that thread and get you somebody else, baby. Like I feel like BetterHelp thought of everything
they did
that you needed to really make it easy and make it simple. So make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Lindsay's, LINDSEYS today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Lindsay's, LINDSEYS, BetterHelp.com/Lindsay's, 10% off. So, I mean, you know, we jump back into this. It's like, you know, my wife is explaining how she needs a couple of days to process. And for me, I hate leaving things. Like the worst text I can receive from somebody is, "We need to talk."
Oh yeah.
Because in that moment, that's anxiety. I don't have time for it. Like, you can either talk to me right now or we'll never talk again. Like, because I don't have time to be like, "Oh, we need to talk, but we could talk next week." Yeah. No, Negro, we're going to talk today. We're going to talk right now. I'm about to call you. If you don't answer, then don't ever call me again.
But that's why I think happens. I feel like when we have those conversations where you're like, we got to talk this out right now, things might come out wrong. And it's not my intention. I just wasn't ready to talk. So now when I'm opening up, I'm saying things that I mean to say because I hadn't fully processed them.
Okay, but there have been times where it's like there's been time
where I process,
where you process,
and I still turned up.
You still turned up. So I be like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. Do you hear what you? You are, and I think
human, and I love myself.
Listen, that's the blessed part of this whole thing. Yeah. You're human, and we're supposed to mess up.
Baby, that's why I say I see so much grace and mercy in you when it comes to me, because not saying that you're perfect.
Yeah, but
when it comes to like hard communication, hard problems, like I feel like I'm always working on myself. When I say I'm the type of person where I realize I have an issue or a struggle, I'm like working on it. I remember telling you this past summer, I was like, I'm tired of working on myself. I just want to go a season where I'm not working like on me. Like I just want that soft life for like a minute in my soul. Like I'm tired of working on myself all the time. But I just feel like in those moments and those hard moments, it's not my intention to fight. I just want things to get better. Like no, seriously.
I don't.
I just want the conflict to be over, and I want us to cuddle and be done with it. And I know that doesn't mean that anything's solved. I just want to have like make-up sex, but we don't have to make up necessarily. I mean, that is make-up sex, but like I don't want to have to like face it. You know what I mean? Because you're, again, mirroring me. You're showing me areas. Heather, you push on areas. Heather, you need to work on that. Heather, you need to change. Heather, you need to do this. I'm like, no. Let's just go on a trip. Like, let's just have a lot of sex. And like, let's just forget the argument happened. And you're like, this is what my baby do. All right, we can do all that, babe. But let's sit down and let's finish this conversation.
What is the main question I asked? So what's the resolution?
What's the resolution? This man want to keep.
We need a resolution.
I love my husband. He just be wanting to talk.
No. It's not that I want to talk.
Friend.
It's like I want to resolve.
And I'm like, we're great. We're fine. No,
we're not because it never got resolved.
Yeah.
It's just that, okay, so now we hugging again and now we talking again, but what's the resolution? Because 48 hours before that, there was not a resolution.
I feel so mannish in this moment.
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, I was like, let's just have makeup sex and not talk.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but
I appreciate that though, babe. Like, that's huge. That's so mature. Like, that shows you emotional maturity where you're like, hey, we have to deal with this. We have to talk this out. But growing up, and I think this is reflective of my childhood, I never saw my parents have healthy conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. I only saw everybody get along. I never saw my parents fight, not one time. My parents were married for 30 some years. Granted, I came in the middle of that, but I never saw them fight ever. And my mom said the beginning of their marriage, they almost got divorced because my father struggled with like alcoholism, drinking and stuff. But the first year she said, if you don't stop drinking, I'm leaving you. And he stayed. He like stopped drinking and all that stuff. But that's the only thing I ever heard of. And I heard about that when I was like 35. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So growing up, I never saw my parents argue. So when I see any type of conflict or any type of hard conversations, I'm like, no, my family sweeps stuff under the rug. Like, we don't really deal with it head on. We don't face it.
Right.
So then when you're a challenger in that sense, if you notice there's some weakness within our marriage, you're like, hey, let's face it, babe. Let's deal with it. Let's grow. Let's mature. And then I become a runner and a track star. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, let's not.
Let's not do that.
Let's not face it.
It sounds
right?
fun, but no.
Exactly. Like, let's just go shopping, right? But I realize, like, I'll either pursue and get all my voids filled, right? Or I'm going to face Heather and I'm going to change and grow. Because if not, it's a cycle. It's like going on that mountain over and over again.
Yeah.
And I feel like we had a great breakthrough in a recent argument that we had where I'm like, whew, like, dang, that argument sucked, but I needed that because it was a marriage mirror to me to show me the areas I need to work on and change. And that's what marriage does. Either you look in the mirror and you see that stuff all over your face and you begin to wash it off with the water of the word, getting before the Lord through therapy, doing what you got to do, application, whatever the case is, read your sermon, your audiobooks, listen to your sermons, whatever. But those different things show me, all right, Heather, these are some areas where there's might be some weakness in you. Right. And then now I take that to the Lord in my quiet time.
I'm thankful for you to even like have the desire to even come back to the table to discuss it. You know, like that's huge.
Thank you, baby.
Because I mean, a lot of couples just don't do that.
Yeah.
And then I also appreciate that you come to the table like with an open ear to really hear, you know, and I think that like that's cool too, because like I always tell you, I want to know exactly how you feel.
He does.
I'm like,
I don't want to say it.
But then that's the craziest thing to me because you're always like, well, I want a safe place to be able to share things, and I'm like, yo, I want to hear it, and then you'll say something. I'm like, yo, that's mean. God, dog.
I know.
Like, you just came from my entire life. Like, you don't see that? And you like, no. I'm like, golly. I'm like, I wanted to hear it, but God, dog, there's only so much I can take.
Or do you not want to hear it, babe?
I mean, I do. I want to hear it, and I always want you to know, like, if there's a place at the table to be able to talk about it. It's just and like how it's said.
But that's the part where I struggle with sometimes because I'm like, and I've said this before to him in a discussion where I'm like,
it's an argument, baby. It's okay.
Isn't that funny how my childhood is still leading the way when it comes to conflict?
Arguments are fine.
I hate that word.
We need
argument.
Conflict
Can I say
brings
test
about
and trial.
Conflict. You old biblical scholar. No. Conflict, fight, war. You need that because it ultimately makes us stronger. We became stronger as a nation after battle.
Oh, all right. Everybody calm down. Okay.
You need a battle. Okay. You need a war. Like you need a fight with God first for you to recognize identity.
All right.
You got to wrestle with him all night until the day break.
Okay. When we wrestle. When we wrestle.
We'll use the word
well, people
wrestle.
are going to think that like we beating up each other.
When we argue.
When we have an argument.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. that word feels so weird.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
No, it's
I'm
not.
like married 13 years and I still don't like the word an argument.
It's a preference. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine. Discussion, argument. But it's a preference.
I feel like you get on to me about that sometimes.
Okay, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Because you'll say that a lot, and I'll be like, hold on.
Exactly. Let's set it up for the people though, because they're not in our conversation.
Okay.
Right. So I feel like you're like, it's the way you're communicating. You're communicating, but I don't like the way you're communicating because you can't hear yourself.
Who, me?
Yeah, no, that's what you say about me.
Okay,
You'd be like, babe, it's how you're saying it. Like, I wish you could hear yourself say what you're saying in the way you're communicating. So my thing is like, I'm a runner, track star, but I'm recovering. So I'm not running no more in Jesus' name, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm going to open up. I'm going to talk. He wants to talk. It's been a day or two. So I'm finally going to like process and like open up, right? And then when I do, you be like, no, it's how you said it, babe. Like, you got to think about what you're saying. And I'm like, but that's what I came up with.
That's what you it's like 24 hours. It's like
24
that's
hours.
It.
That's what I got.
Out of 24 hours. That's what you pulled from this whole thing. Like,
and the crazy thing is, people like, that wasn't even the initial issue.
Wasn't even the issue.
So I think it goes back. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Like communicating. Like, what did you hear me just say?
Yeah, but I do have a question I want to ask you though.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you this right after this break. Yo, so people out there trying to get that credit up. The summer,
credit together.
the summer is ending. We get into the holiday season. You need the credit to be up because you got some people out there. You need to be buying some stuff for you, trying to buy that car. You need that credit to be where it needs to be. Come on, I mean that's that's why they need to get up with this Chime Credit Visa credit card. They got to get it. They got to build this thing up.
Okay, whether you're doing it for yourself or somebody else, right? You want to make sure that you're building your credit. You need good credit sometimes to even get a job. I remember my old job, we would do credit checks to see if they have a good credit, to see if, because it was a financial job. It was a finance job, right? So I think you need to have that. And then also to buy a car and to get a home.
Anything.
And a house, unless you're buying everything for cash, right? But if you need to build your credit, like 99.9% of the world, I love Chime Credit Builder Visa Card. There's no annual fee, interest, or credit checks to get started.
You can use it everywhere Visa credit cards are accepted. Build your credit using your own money. It's cool. You can access, over 60,000 plus fee-free ATMs. You can send and receive money no matter what bank account they use and cash your money fee-free. So start building your credit up. Open a Chime Checking account with at least a $200 qualifying direct deposit to get started. You get started at chime.com/LWTL. That's chime.com/LWTL. The Chime Credit Builder Visa Credit Card is issued by Stride Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Late payment may negatively impact your credit score. Results may vary. Okay, so you just mentioned it again. Okay, so you mentioned that you said you get on to me. You get on to me.
I get on to you?
No, you said I get on to you.
Yeah.
I'll get on to you about something. You said that. You said that periodically, like throughout our 15 years of like us kicking it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to and answer this honestly. I know we lie right now. I know it is. But answer this okay. Do you feel like I am attacking you, or do you feel like, because like when I hear the words "you're getting on to me," it's almost like Daddy is coming in and bringing the ruler, like, you better not be doing this.
Yeah,
is that how you feel? Like you're in trouble? Is that how you feel?
Sometimes I do.
Totally. You do.
But the crazy thing is, I think it's hard for me because part of me feels like that, but it's a deeper wound that has nothing to do with you. And then I'm like, Heather, like, your husband's heart towards you. Like, he loves you so much and he wants what's best for you. He doesn't even want to fight with you. Matter of fact, Heather, you be starting most of the arguments.
Most?
You know what I mean? Okay, 99.
0.99.
Okay. So I think I get torn because it's like I hear you say this one thing, right? But then I also hear it through a different muffled filter or lens. You see what I'm saying?
Like I'm getting on to you.
Exactly. Like I can't do nothing right.
Like and that's the part I be beating myself up about. I'm like, okay, she says she want me to say it. She said want me to say it softer. Okay.
Yeah, be sweet and be soft with me, and then I'll receive.
But then when I'm soft and I'm sweet, it's still like, well, you're still getting on to me. And I'm like, but I'm not getting on to you. I'm like, you're not Taylor. Like you're grown. Like you're a grown woman. I'm not your dad. I'm not trying to be your dad. I just want to converse with you.
I think that's the thing. Any type of conflict or argument makes me like a flower that like close in. That's like, nope, I'm good. That's why I immediately want to go to a happy place. Let's go on vacation. Let's go shopping. Let's go have sex. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to deal with the conflict because I never saw, number one, my parents in conflict. And then my father, the only time I felt like growing up, and I'm sure he encouraged me, don't get me wrong, I was a teenager, you know what I mean? So if my family's listening, don't come for me. You know, I know my dad was great, but we just weren't close. And I felt like he was so hard on me. So I felt like he was always so hard on me, but he didn't encourage me. So I felt like he only really communicated when I did something wrong. So it was just like, he was critical of me and hard on me. So when you say something to me, I'm shutting down because I didn't deal with daddy always being critical of me, right? And you're like, my intentions are just so good. Like,
I just want to converse. So this could be better and this could be happy again.
Exactly. And meanwhile, I'm like, no, let's just be happy without dealing with it, which is not healthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you actually have to face that. And I feel like sometimes I go with stuff all over me because I'm like, I would rather the stuff be all over me. And as long as we can just like be happy, we'll be fine. Because that's what I saw my parents do. I never saw them fight.
They never dealt with it.
They never. Oh no. I mean, my family pushed things under the rug growing up. Like, and I don't know if it's like the white culture, but we didn't like deal.
Black folks do it too.
Yeah.
Black folks got all kind of secrets.
Yeah.
We don't.
But I mean, but I only know the family I was raised in. My parents are white. You know what I mean? But and most of my cousins and other family members, they push stuff under the rug too. You know, you just don't really deal with it head on.
Yeah.
You don't just like face it like it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like war was not a pretty word in my house, like stuff like that. And when we did get in trouble growing up with my sisters, my siblings, and we had to sit on the stairs and hold hands and communicate, you know what I mean, to them about what happened. So that was okay because it was like my sister, you know what I mean? And I love women and I'm able to communicate well with women and work through conflict. But when it comes to men, there's a struggle within me. You know what I mean? And
you feel like it comes from like your dad situation?
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. And I think even coming into our marriage, it was like this thing where it's like, I don't trust men because I don't feel like I was properly loved by one. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And so then we get married and you're like, you know, I'm the priest of our household. You have right to be able to be like, babe, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. But because I'm not in a place where I can receive it, because I'm still that little inner me, that little protector me, you know what I mean? So that's why when I do communicate, sometimes it blurts out wrong because it's just like, it's like, wait, where did that come from?
I know.
Right, exactly. And so, and then if you're not in a good place, you might struggle with my blurt out. And then
I struggle with it bad.
And then you get mad, right? And then I'm like, why are you mad? I was the one that was mad in the first place. Now you mad.
Yeah. And then another thing is like, I don't like to see you mad.
You don't.
So when I see you mad, it makes me madder. It's almost like a thing like, okay, you can mess with Papa Bear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But when you mess with the Cubs,
yeah,
you see a whole new Papa Bear.
Yeah.
When you mess with Mama Bear, you see a whole new Papa Bear.
Yeah.
But if you just mess with me, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, you know, we cool.
Yeah.
But when I see you get angry and I see the kids upset, then it's like, oh, I black out.
Yeah.
I legit black out.
Yeah.
And I go into super protective mode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to kill anything that I'm legit, like serious.
You're
like I'm
super protective.
Willing to kill whatever, like kill, point blank in the forehead.
Yeah.
Not paying the bill afterwards. You know what I'm talking about? Willing to do jail time because of it. But that is like, that's the other piece that I have to like figure out. Okay, when she like, I'm having to learn de-escalation because I don't know that.
Yeah.
And I
you didn't see it growing up.
No, I didn't.
You didn't see a healthy version.
No,
of it.
I mean, all I saw was escalation. I mean, and it's plus in that Southern Black culture, escalation was always like, it was like fight. Like whether it's cousins, siblings, whatever it is. Like it's just that's just everything escalates.
I realized
every cookout.
Oh my gosh,
I
went to
expectation
cookouts,
for an escalation,
and that was like the turn up, and
everything is escalation.
Everything was. And I
Thanksgiving dinners escalate. Somebody's gonna escalate. Somebody's gonna take it.
Like, why is everybody fighting? Like, why is everybody sad? He's like, oh, no one's sad. I'm like, huh? They're
it's just the way we
each
talk.
Other out.
Yeah, it's the way we talk. Yeah. Southern Black culture, like,
I was like, but he was dragging his wife, like. Yeah.
I mean,
in front of everybody.
We talk about each other. We like, I'm gonna beat you up. You ain't never known us to beat up nobody. I mean, that's just what it is. Like we just real so loud, real
when
mouthy.
I got around your family, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and so I grew up in an environment that was all escalation. So the point of like trying to de-escalate, I'm trying to like classical music has become such a great place for me because it helps me to refocus and it's like great de-escalation. I'm like, okay, breathe. Yeah. But I don't get the whole de-escalation piece. So that's the piece where I'm trying to learn because I'm like, there's no way you're going to be a great leader unless you learn de-escalation. Yeah. Because I'm ready to pop off with anybody who pops off. In fact, I'll walk into certain places telling you like, I'm willing to pop off with anybody who wants to pop off.
And he's like never been in a fight, y'all, in his entire life.
I wouldn't say that. But,
Oh, wait, you got no fight?
No. I mean, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
All right, we're discussing the car.
No, we're not going to discuss the car. But
oh, wow.
de-escalation is something that I have to.
Wait, have you ever been in a fight? Let the people know.
No, I'm not letting the people know. They know all of my life.
Okay, well, if you got in a fight, it was within the past few months, so we need to discuss.
Dang.
And you have another gray coming in.
3 gray hairs now.
Baby.
Can you believe I have 3 of them now?
You're salt and pepper now. How do you feel? Do you want to pluck them out?
No, I don't want to pluck them out. It is what it is. We're going to get what we get. It just is what it is. But again, going back to the whole point here, that whole narrative.
I feel like this is a good conversation. We need to continue this conversation.
I'm seeing, like, when I look at you, I'm saying you have to learn de-escalation. Because, like, you're recognizing the pushing of the buttons, and I'm having to learn trigger points and how to de-escalate trigger points. Because one thing I always say all the time, I'm like, all right, you're going to keep pushing the buttons, you're going to push the wrong one.
No, he said you're going to push the right one.
Oh, you're going to push the right one, and you're going to really find out.
And I would be like, it's never my intention to ever. That's the thing that I want you to realize, and I've said this many times. I don't like conflict. I don't like arguments. I would rather avoid it at all costs within our marriage. Like with friends and stuff, I don't mind confrontation. I don't mind picking up the phone. I've done it many times. Yeah. But when it comes to you, it's just different because you're a male. You're my husband, right? And I can't just like cut you off. Like you're my whole husband. Like I have your last name. Some spouses do. They be
like, I cut you off.
Right. But I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like really facing myself in dealing with that and just, that's tough, man. It's hard.
Like for you, the whole piece, like that piece, the trigger pointing piece, like that stuff. And then for me, it's the de-escalation. It's okay. So now the trigger's been pushed. How are you going to respond to that? Because my response is like, hold on, who you think you're talking to? And then I go all the way back to the like, I just go to like the black man that little black boy who was, picked on. And, like all throughout childhood and didn't really have a voice and blah, blah, blah. And I go back to that point and I'm just like, yo, this ain't gonna go.
But the crazy thing is it's little me that's pushing the buttons and then it's little you responding.
It's little me that's responding. It's that protector in me that's like, and so now I want the adult to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay in this moment. That may be what was said or that may, I won't even say this was said. That may be what you heard. And I know that's how you heard it. But it's okay not to respond, not to react. Yeah. And that's the point of de-escalation that I'm really trying to learn is that I don't want to react to things. Yeah. I want to respond to them. Yeah. Like that reaction is that spur of the moment emotion. It's like, the emotion comes in and then, I'm, what? Like, you know? But like the response is more of like, let me listen to what was said. All right. So that's not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to learn that whole response kit because de-escalation that's not my thing. Like I'm willing to go toe to toe with.
But you do a good job
Really?
When you do.
Oh, when I do. Okay.
When you do.
And when I don't, I don't.
When you don't.
When I don't, I don't.
When you don't, you ain't doing good, friend.
Doing good.
But when you do, you're like, all right, babe, what's the root of this?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because that's not the issue. The issue is something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if I could practice that all the time, like I feel like, okay, we would I feel like our conversations like would be in a healthier place because I can kind of help to lead and guide. And I feel like, as your husband, like as a leader, that's my job is kind of like to lead that conversation back to
lead me,
baby. That ain't where we supposed to be going. Like, no.
But you know what happens when you do that?
What?
It gives the Holy Spirit a chance to come in and convict the crap out of me in that area.
Okay, well sometimes the Holy Spirit be taking too long because you be needing too much time to think. So I got
So when you do that, it does give the Holy Spirit room to be like, Heather, it makes me reflect. Like, yo, it's you. Like, you're the problem, ma'am. You need to repent. You need to apologize to your husband and share where you're wrong. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
And then when you escalate, then I become a victim. And then I'm like, see, I was right. He is wrong.
Yeah.
Because look at what he's doing and look how he's responding to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and I think in the continuation is what we could talk about next week is you asked me a question like after an argument, you said, okay, so maybe I should just tell you when I'm naggy. Or maybe I should just tell you when I miss, and then
hormonal.
I was like, no, don't do that.
All right, let's share why next week.
And then you asked me the question, and I said, no, don't do that. And you asked me, you said, so what am I supposed to do then?
Yeah.
And I said, let's do this, and we'll talk about what that is next week. So y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us.
Sorry, you have to wait a whole week, but it's gonna be worth the wait.
Saturday, make sure you share this with your family, your friends, your cousin, them, mama, them,
all that good stuff. We see your comments. We love you. We appreciate you.
If you're on my YouTube, I can see your comments.
I see your comments. I love you, even if you're a hater.
Blessings, y'all. Bye. Introduces we out.